When's the last time you were here?
A year today.
Yeah.
A year today. I would have normally been out here. This should have been probably around my third visit. So it's been pretty much 12 months since I was here last.
And what made you decide to come now? Why did you feel it was the right time to travel?
Everything seemed to start opening up again. Flights are being laid on. I'm fortunate that I'm in a position that I can actually quarantine from home and still continue working. It kind of made sense that after almost a year I needed to get away, and I wanted to come out and see how everyone's doing out here, especially, and be able to experience Red Sea dive safari in the middle of a pandemic, and provide a bit of reassurance.
And when you say see what it's like with Red Sea diving safari in a pandemic, how has it been this week?
Subtle, very, very subtle. There's actually been many periods, I've forgotten what's going on outside of here. Precautions are being taken. There's some changes. Again, there's subtle changes. Screens around the buffet, the screen in the cafeteria. A lot of the staff are having to wear masks, of course, as they go about their daily business. The social distancing with staff was a little bit different when I first arrived because I'm so used to big bear hugs, and there's been a lot of elbow banging and fist bumping. But for the most part, everything, once you get over that, everything's pretty much exactly the same. And it's a damn sight better than what it's like in Europe at the moment, for sure.
And in terms of the diving, has that been different at all in terms of like the procedures and the pandemic and everything, or is it pretty much business as usual for you?
The procedures are a little different from normal. Again, we're all nicely spread out around the dive shade, which is lovely. We all like a bit of space anyway.
Okay, and in terms of the procedures coming through, the actual travelling procedures, how was it to actually get yourself?
The flight itself, EasyJet, had a good handle on it, getting people to stay in their seats, reminding everyone to wear their masks, and their service was a little more limited than usual, but really nothing noticeable. I think the big one was when we touched down in Hurghada, and you kind of think to yourself, right, let the chaos begin. But I've got to say, Hurghada Airport were absolutely spot on. Off the plane nice and quick, PCRs in hand, all checked, straight through immigration, bags sprayed, bags ready, out you go.
Yeah. And how did you get your PCR done? Because it's not easy to do it on with a flight on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday,
yeah,
Tuesday flights are really the worst. It's a case of checking around what companies, where they're operating their labs 7 days a week, and also anywhere where you can actually drop your test off, so it can be dropped off on a Sunday. Take the test on Sunday morning, drop it off. If you live in a big town, London, for instance, and there's lots of clinics you can walk into. I live on the south coast, that really wasn't available. So it was actually using a courier service to make sure that it got there on time. And the results were through to me by midday Monday times.
Yeah. So you all decided to do it in the UK before coming out here. Would you recommend doing that? Because it is possible in Hurghada Airport, isn't it? But would you think it's better to do it before you come, just have that peace of mind?
Personally, I do it before you come. Do have that peace of mind. Also, don't lose any holiday. It's $30 to have it done in the airport. A test now is costing anywhere between 80 and 150. That's fine, but it's the cost of a day's holiday.
Yeah.
Because you get you have your test, you're on a separate transfer, you're hanging around the airport for a few hours before you actually arrive on resort, and then you've got to quarantine in your room until the results come through. And I know they say 24 hours, but as we know, it has taken up to 72.
Yeah. So you could end up losing a week or half a week.
You could lose half the week of your holiday.
So when you get back, obviously you're flying back today. When you get back, what procedures are you going to have to go through? Is there anything special that people should know when they go back?
At the moment, I need to quarantine for 2 weeks, and that is quarantine. That doesn't mean I can go home after 3 days, take another PCR test, and I'm free to go. That means I'm quarantining for 2 weeks. That's in our strictest lockdown. That's very much what we were doing then. However, I actually can't go outside of my own sort of back garden and house and walks, that kind of thing. But the good news is that they are looking to reduce that when we come out of this lockdown. Yeah. They're looking to reduce it to 7 days.
So have you got many people and many UNIS guests travelling at the moment? What sort of trips are they doing at the moment?
We do have a few actually. What we're seeing is that people are extending their stay. So I can't remember any guests where we've only put them here for 1 week. We've got a prime example with us, booked for 1 week, extended to 2, extended to 4, now extending to 5. So if you've got that freedom and flexibility, it's perfect, and obviously very well discounted. So, and of course, people have accumulated this year quite a lot of holiday leave. So it makes sense if you're going to take a holiday now, and you are going to have to put up with a bit of quarantine, be it a week or 2 weeks when you get home, come for longer. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, I suppose the flight, by the time you've paid for the flight, and then that's quite a big chunk of the package price.
It can be 40 to 50% of the package price a lot of the time. So spread that across a few weeks, and hey, you got someone doing your cooking, someone doing your cleaning or your washing up. You got this on your doorstep, and you got glorious weather. So who wouldn't?
Yeah, and you've been doing a bit of work while you've been out here. How did you find it with, getting internet connection and being able to work from here?
The actual logistics of working is really good. So I've got a Wi-Fi. The internet is more than strong enough using the Wi-Fi to be able to use my laptop. We're cloud-based, as you know, so we've had no problems there. For me, working personally this week, it's not been easy because it's just too much distraction.
We try and keep you busy.
We try and keep you busy, yeah. So I've done what I've had to, really, and it's been quite difficult to just sit there tapping away. Yeah.
And what else have you been up to this week? Because you've been travelling around a bit. You've been down to Lahmi as well.
Had an amazing day and overnight at Lahmi. Yeah, that was really special. I wanted to see what Ross had been doing to the kite surf station, so I was quite impressed when I see a lot of people that have built those little home bars over that first period of lockdown, and then you see what Ross has done. It's like, my God, that's a project, isn't it? And when you look, everything's recycled, and he's telling you how he's sort of stripped the metal from the doors and repainted. I was really, really impressed, actually. The sad thing there is that the plan was to get me up on the board in the afternoon. God knows how that would have gone, but
sad, you were praying that wouldn't.
I was kind of, As you well know, we had a little bit of a distraction during the day, where usually after the couple of dives, we should have been back at Lahmi by around 11:30. We didn't get back till 1:45, but we've got kind of 80, perhaps 100 dolphins to thank for that.
On the way in and the way out.
On the way in and the way out. Spinners out, bottlenose in.
Yeah, that was a pretty special.
So yeah, given the choice, what would you have done?
Say anything about any other changes, as we've put a few new things on site?
Yeah, I'm quite impressed at changes, actually. When I first come here 20 years ago, Red Sea Diving Safari was just a diving safari. Not just, but where now you can actually make more of an experience holiday out of it. One of our owners guests that's with us at the moment, his wife's a non-diver, but she had a yoga holiday cancelled. So he's brought his wife along, and we now have a new yoga tent, or shala, because I'll get told off for that. We have a new yoga shala that's been purposely built, which is just sort of right up the far end of the beach with the most amazing views. We've got the resident Gosha now, who, not being a yoga person, I don't know the type of yoga she teaches, but apparently she's very good. The free diving, that's a new one. So you can come out, have a free dive experience, or actually train, take the course, and of course the kite surfing and the astro tours. And so what was just a diving holiday now can be quite a good experience holiday.
And how have you felt about the marine life on the house reef? Because obviously it's been a while since you were here last time, a longer gap than you would normally spend away, unfortunately. And obviously the reef's been pretty much undived for almost 6 months. So have you noticed any changes in the house reef?
It's busy. Very, very, very busy. It's
marine life or divers?
Marine life. I mean, it was just like I popped onto the south yesterday morning. I wanted to be first on that house reef, and for once I made it. And it was almost like having to move the anthers out the way, sort of as I'm getting round to the corner to that lovely plateau. That slopey bit, about 14 metres. Yeah, everything's just really chilled. It's nothing was particularly parting in front of you or skittish, and yeah, it was really, really good experience.
I think one of the things I've noticed over lockdown, because obviously I was stuck here, terrible, was that
I'd have traded.
a lot of people have asked about the marine life, and they sort of say, I think they expect that you're going to see like 10 whale sharks on every house reef dive and things like that, but it's not that kind of change, but it's just the whole reef, I think, is a lot healthier.
Much healthier.
Juveniles, a lot more schooling fish. The schools seem a bit bigger. And I've seen quite a few fish this year that I've never really seen before.
No, it's like that one yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was a tuna.
Oh, yeah.
Yellow. Yeah.
And I saw one the other day, which I thought, have I seen that before or not? And it turned out to be a razorfish.
Yeah.
So I think that there is, we had a sea moth around for a little while, and normally we'd get that in Knackery. There's definitely a lot to see. I've seen a lot of dolphins.
I was going to say, markedly, a lot of dolphins, whether that's down to fewer safari boats, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty much been dolphins nearly every day.
Of course, we've had a lot of other small changes, like the water dispensers. It's a negative, but unfortunately there's just not much we can
keeping
do.
You open.
Yeah. We've got a lot of things which have been put in place as sort of safety measures, and they're not necessarily things that we 100% support in terms of the environment. Obviously we got rid of using plastic bottles years ago, 2010.
Long time ago.
We stopped using plastic bottles, but we do our best to make sure that they get recycled, and we just hope that those measures will be for as short a time as possible to reduce the impact on the environment. We're really happy to have the buffet back open now.
So am I.
For a time we were doing the set meals, which was fine, but it's much better when people can choose what they want and the quantities that they want, just with the glass screens in to provide the protection.
They are overfeeders. It's like 1, 2, no, 1. 1. No.
Our chefs like to feed people.
They do indeed. They do indeed. So what about truck dives?
Truck dives, for the moment, we're not offering them. We're keeping it limited to the dives which can only really be done by microbus. So, for example, Marsa Shagra, we're doing it by speedboat now. We go from the outside. We do take people to Dolphin House. We do take people to Knackery to do Haveli and Sharb Knackery, because obviously there's no other way that they can do them. But we try to keep it to people that are in their own groups that are diving little bubbles, families. Just, we all need to sort of accept that we have to, take extra precautions. And so there's not as much on offer in terms of the shore dives, but everything that we can do by speedboat, we do. Elphinstone, all the Abu Dhabi reefs, the offshore reefs, Nemo City, and obviously Lahmi's not affected by that at all because it's all by speedboat.
No.
And we try and make sure that on the boats we keep a distance. But in reality, everyone's here, everyone's diving together. Almost everyone's had their PCR before they've come here. All our staff have a PCR or a test before they come back to work, and there's strict rules about the staff rotations.
Yeah, I was impressed that the bus was disinfected as we arrived. Good old spray down before we entered.
Yeah, exactly.
So you can't say that you're not taking every precaution. How are the bookings looking for the future?
Yeah, obviously people aren't booking so far in advance as they normally would, although a lot of people that were cancelled this year, they've rebooked for next year. People that are booking now are booking fairly last minute just to make sure that they're sure of their flights and so on. But we've been trying to offer quite flexible booking conditions so that people know that if they, for whatever reason, can't come, then they can postpone their trip. And we're quite flexible about that. And, even in general, you've never got a policy that can cover everyone's circumstances. So we like to think that we're quite open and flexible.
As you know, we're exactly the same. So it's as a partnership, it's working really well. So,
we have people coming in from all different countries. So it's different months have different, sort of majority of different nationalities. And it's just lovely to finally have some Brits back, actually, because we've got a few this month. Last month it was the French. Now they're locked down, so we don't have any French. Now we've got a few Brits who've escaped the lockdown. And I think next month it'll be a few Polish. And so, it'll be nice to one day have all the different nationalities, because we do have quite a community, actually, of different people from different countries who unite here.
Very much so.
Red Sea Diving Safari fans.
It's quite an international village, if I'm still allowed to call it a village.
Yeah, you're allowed to call it a village.
Very, very much. Yeah, it's still quite, everybody mixes really well. So, as you know, I've already booked again.
Yes. When for is that?
I'm going to pull a self-distance Christmas cracker here, I think.
Very nice.
So how is Christmas looking?
Good. I think it's going to be quite a popular time to come out, because hopefully the flights will be backing by then. I think the first EasyJet's coming out at the 8th of December. So there's quite a few people booked for Christmas. So that's going to be good. We're going to have quite a chilled Christmas here this year. Obviously, the chefs will be feeding you all up like crazy. And we're going to have a bit of a chilled one at the Bedouin Cafe this year with a bit of local entertainment. And so hopefully everyone can just escape and forget about 2020 and see in 2021 with a bit more of optimism.
Yeah.